ライブになったら言ってくださいね。
はい。多分、もう始まってるのかな。あ、始まってます。ライ
Are we
ブ。
live?
Yes.
Are we live? We're live! We're live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening if you're joining us from Asia. And good afternoon if you're joining us from Europe or Africa. Good morning if you're joining us from America. Welcome to Kenji Ojima's International YouTube Live in English. My name is Robert, and I will be your host and MC on today's hour-long journey of learning. Of course, joining me is the world-famous aligner orthodontist, Dr. Kenji Ojima. Hello.
Hello. Hello, Robert. Thanks a lot until this time. So this is a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very excited to collaborate with you for the YouTube channel.
I am very happy and excited as well, but I wish that the circumstances were better. Of course, right now there are many people around the world who are in very tough times.
Yes.
Because of the coronavirus and the corona panic,
Yeah.
our lives have changed a lot. Many people are stuck at home. They
Yes.
can't work. Their kids can't go to school. They can't go out to eat. They can't see their friends.
Yeah.
We can't enjoy our life in all the ways that we could just a few months ago.
Yeah.
And these are dark times.
Yes, a very
They're
tough
dark times.
Very
I
tough.
agree. But I hope that for the next hour, everyone joining us can forget their worries and focus on a bit of entertainment and learning, and hopefully we can bring some light into these dark times. So, Kenji, I know that we will be looking at several different cases today,
Yes.
and that all of the videos of the cases are available in your YouTube channel.
Yeah, of course.
So, if you'd like to review these cases later, please take this time to hit like and subscribe and stay up to date on all of Kenji Ojima's wonderful updates. Down below, that's right. Okay, so Kenji is usually traveling around the world, speaking at different international symposia, which is a one-way conversation. YouTube Live is different because it's a two-way conversation. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to address to Dr. Ojima or to me, I can't imagine why you'd want to talk to me, but if you'd like to, please write them in the chat and we will do our best to address them as we can. So, Dr. Ojima, Kenji, let's get started. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu.
Yes. So this time is very exciting for the opportunity. So my friends, Professor Robert and me, as this is a very wonderful opportunity for all of the world colleagues and friends. This time is three cases. These three cases are very exciting topics. The one is a DSD. Another one is for premolar extraction. Another one is a very basically, but a very big expand upper molar distalization case. Okay?
What is the key to success?
Sounds challenging and interesting. I cannot wait to learn more.
How do we successfully plan staging of molar distalization?
Okay, so Ken, let me ask you. I know that my life has changed quite a bit since the coronavirus panic has started. What has changed most in your life?
2:30 Central European Time.
This time?
Yes.
So this time is my clinic change. You mean?
Okay. Yes. The change in your clinic and change in your life because of the coronavirus. What has changed in your life?
So I'm changing for the close to my office for the current for about 2 weeks. Then nowadays is just waiting and sometime education for the staff, education for the doctors, but only use for the online, not for the face-to-face. This is, I think, the next generation have to need for the new approaching, not for the face-to-face. Sometimes it's online, sometimes YouTube education is very important thing, right?
I agree. I know that you have been focusing on digital orthodontics in your research for the last few years, and right now, all digital is a responsible decision. So this is a great time for learning, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think so. But I'm sometimes very sad because I want to talk to the patient. It's very fun time for me.
Of course.
Same as you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, for sure. I miss my students. I miss my
You,
students.
yes. So, okay, so back to the another one. So this is finally, the initial one is digital smile design.
Digital smile design. Okay, so Kenji, digital smile design is a term that we hear very often these days. It's a very hot topic in
Yes.
aligner orthodontics and also Invisalign in orthodontics. In fact, this year in February in Spain, you were given an award
Yeah.
for the most DSD and Invisalign integrated cases
Yes.
for last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations.
Thanks a lot. I'm very surprised because
You're very welcome.
I do a lot of the case for the DSD collaboration for the Invisalign system. So that I want to explain like this case. Now, Robert,
Go ahead.
watching over 150 my friend watching this YouTube channel right now. Okay,
Wow.
let's
Hello,
go.
150 friends.
Hello. So I want to explain initial case, this one. This case is please watching precisely. This is a severe open bite and high canine case. And please have a look for the lower, the right side, second molar is already missed. And please have a look. And the lower left, first molar is a crown is broken. Very severe case. Why I use this case using digital smile collaboration Invisalign system? Have a look. This is missing 47. Then we don't use molar anchorage, right? And this is a
Right.
cephalometric analysis. This is a definitely so open bite, severe open bite case. Then I want to do the molar intrusion, and we want to counterclockwise rotation of the mandible. Then I want to alignment anterior teeth. But at this time, nobody understood how millimeter extrusion anterior teeth for good for the smiling. At this time, if using digital smile design, it's more easy to understood communication for the patient, easy to understood our team, and easy to understood create my clean check. If without the face, only clean check, nobody understood how millimeter is better alignment or not. But if face integration clean check, more clearly visualization for the patient and my idea, then we understood how millimeter extrusion, how millimeter is better smiling for this patient. Then I decide on this screen check, then go to more detailing. And my approach is very important thing.
Interesting.
Initially, not decide on screen check. Decide on treatment goal first. After that, go to the screen check, then more detailing. Please have a look. This patient initially only 2 point is vertical contact. Left side is 2 point, right side only 2 point. Normally,
I see.
like this situation is very difficult to use molar anchorage. But if using aligners,
there's no bite contact.
exactly,
Right? Yeah. Okay.
exactly. If using the aligners, aligner is a cover to occlusal aspect. Then the patient using bite force. This is a more strongly anchorage. You can use bite force anchorage. If you use another device, cannot use bite force. But if you're using aligners, you can use bite force anchorage. Then more stable. Have a look. This is a right side. Right side is a missing 47. Cannot use for the lower molar anchorage. But think about staging. Think about biomechanics. Is aligner, we can do more precisely tooth movement like this. Have a look. Initially, this patient is controlled only upper side. Okay? Upper canine retraction and the upper canine is space closing. Then we started change. So the upper side is a one block anchorage, big anchorage. Then change for the class 3 elastic. Then at this time, lower canine is still the space. Then started after upper canine space close, then started lower canine space close tooth movement. Have a look. Then like this.
That's amazing.
Okay, that is very
Did
important.
you use any screw implants during this procedure?
This is a no. This time I don't use
No.
another any TAT, only a liner and elastic device. But just a little bit
Wow.
different for the staging. Initially alignment
Okay.
only upper, after that lower side. Okay.
Okay. I see.
This is totally different for the think about biomechanics. Initially, alignment upper first, after that lower alignment, then canine, upper anterior fold incisors is a separate segmental tooth movement. Okay?
So why focus on the upper teeth first before the lower teeth?
Because upper
Why the
teeth,
upper teeth?
yes, very nice question. Upper teeth is a maxillary bone is very softly, easy to control.
Okay.
Sort of easy to control for the upper molar. And the upper molar, as you can see, is full of the molar is stable. Okay, the lower side is
Okay.
one teeth is missing. So initially, I want to alignment upper teeth first, then create a big anchorage, then control lower
Okay, I
canine
see.
retraction and the lower anterior retraction. This is a totally
Interesting.
different. Yes,
So if you have your upper teeth in their close to final alignment quickly, you can use them as much stronger anchorage and as
Exactly.
control for moving the bottom teeth.
exactly.
I see. Okay.
Sometimes I
Very
use like
interesting.
this. Thanks a lot. Sometimes I use like this different staging. Sometimes delay staging. Sometimes faster. It depends on the
Okay.
case. Yes. So sometimes for the many of the doctor ask to me, so the canine retraction same time is better. I don't think so. It's you can create for the your clean check. It's more free, and think about which tooth is anchorage, which tooth is control. Only this. Okay. So the aligner is not too how I say complex. Very easy to understand. Which tooth is moving, which tooth is anchorage, and this one is a very simple. Then after space closing, lower side, upper side, then go to the detailing situation. Okay, so the detailing time is a aligner orthodontic. We can possible to precisely tooth movement and good control for the precisely contact canine and the anterior guidance, everything. Okay. After alignment teeth, this is initial time. Then so you can see this teeth is missing 47 and only bite contact is a 4 point and high canine both of side and open bite anterior teeth. Then we want to how millimeter extrusion and how millimeter intrusion molars. At this time face integration clean check is more easy understood. The post extraction,
I see.
like this, you can see the keep the bite vertical contact point. Okay, then initially we control upper canine retraction and place on the rectangular attachment. In my protocol, is a place on rectangular attachment is about third aligner, maybe fourth aligner, not initial aligner, because patient initial time is very difficult to insert for the aligner. Sometimes difficult to remove the aligners. We call practice aligner, first and second aligners. After
Okay, so this what you mean is it is because aligner is new for them, it's difficult to both insert, take out, and also to develop a habit of using an aligner, right?
Exactly. So the initial time is a patient is very difficult. On the another hand, is a very clouding teeth, high canine, so the very difficult to insert aligners. But just a little bit tooth movement started. Tooth just a little bit started to the mobility, then easy to insert for the aligner, then put on attachment. Our almost third aligner is mainly sometimes 5, sometimes 4, but it depends on the situation. Then after that, we started use class 2 elastic for this patient. Please have a look. This is a button and this is a direct bonding hook. We call DBH.
Okay.
Using class 2
DBH.
DBH, yes. Then so that we will control more precisely canine bodily tooth movement. please have a look. This still molars, lower molars, upper molar is good contact, not happen to posterior open bite. This is already space closing almost. Then space closing almost. Then we can start it, create strongly anchorage for upper side. Then we started lower canine retraction phase. Okay? At this time we use bottom place on upper first molars. Then we use class 3 elastic after upper arch. Yes, good for the create anchorage. Then we started for the lower canine retraction. Then this is a lower canine retraction and almost space closing, and we started for torque control phase, only aligners. Then this is a finally, so final situation this. Then after that I sent to, after that I sent to my interdisciplinary implantologist and place on 47 dental implant. In my team, it's very important thing, take photos with aligners. That is very important thing for my team, because we have to check which tooth is a good fitting, which tooth is a loose fitting, easy to checking. If just a little bit not good fitting, we have to some follow-up protocol, but this patient is all the time, during the time, very nice compliance, good for the fitting for the aligners. Okay.
So in a complex case like this, where do you usually see unfit? So if the patient had bad compliance, would you see more unfit in the molars or more in the anterior teeth? Where would you see it at first?
It depends on the situation, but mostly like this case for the specialty anterior open bite case is just a little bit unfit happen to anterior side. But if place on, yes, exactly. But place on the upper first 1, 2, and 2 to place on the rectangular attachment, this is avoid unfitting. Very important thing, attachment procedures, and we have to think about how reaction anterior teeth movement, and how we have to think about reaction tooth movement. Mainly for the lower upper molars intrusion time is a reaction for the aligner is like this. At this time, if placed on the attachment, good control extrusion. This is the support to extrusion for the aligners. At this time, very important thing, place on the attachment for the anterior 1, 2, 2, 2. This is a key of the success.
Very interesting. So we have a question in the chat. Yael Friedman wants to know, do you use orthopulse on these types of cases or any other kind of acceleration device?
This case is using orthopulse device, and the aligner change is 3 days. Aligner change 3 days.
3 days?
Yes. 3.
Wow. That's amazing.
I think
typically 20 days or 12 days. And then some people say with accelerated devices 8 days. But your 3 days, did this patient experience any discomfort because of the quick aligner changes?
Yes, for the big, but if you want to use acceleration device, very important thing is keep compliance for the patient management. That is very important thing. So if you don't have any experience for the acceleration device with aligner, you have to check patient compliance and management procedure. After that, you can use for the acceleration device. Okay.
We have a follow-up question from Yael. Can you see it on your end?
Okay.
His follow-up question, he says that I see that sometimes you use optimized ATT and sometimes conventional. Which do you prefer, optimized or conventional?
That is very nice question. So many of the doctors ask to me which one is better. So my answer is only this: think biomechanics. Okay. So my mentor, Dr. Professor Ravi Nanda, told me is orthodontic procedure is very important thing. Think about biomechanics. If you want to control these teeth, only force 1, easy to tipping, right? But if you use force 2, like this, then we can control like this bodily tooth movement, right? Then if you want more precisely tooth movement, you want to double force like this. At this time, sometimes optimize attachment, sometimes rectangular attachment. Rectangular attachment is we can use double force or any accept, or you can use for good for the force, right? Then without any attachment, very difficult to control. But if you use attachment, it's more safety.
Interesting, very interesting. And Yael, I apologize. I didn't realize that you were a woman. Very, very sorry for assuming you were a man.
Yeah,
okay. Well, Kenji, we're getting a lot of questions in chat. Would you like to answer some more questions or move on to our next case? What would you like to do?
Okay, how do you think with time management? This is after 2 minutes, is okay?
Yeah, okay, yeah, we can take a couple more questions.
Okay,
so
you
why
can
don't
select
we look...
which one is better.
Sure. Well, I see that Dr. Hind has asked, which accelerator device do you use? In this case, you used OrthoPulse, correct?
In this case, it was pulse.
Okay, do you use any other devices?
Yes, before I use OrthoPulse device, many of the cases I use accelerodent. Accelerodent is a vibration force. Nowadays I use for the OrthoPulse device. This is a photobiomodulation effect. Photobiomodulation is a more faster, more safety, more easy to use for the patient because just 10 minutes, 5 minutes, finish.
Right.
And the vibration is 20 minutes per day. And the vibration force sometimes very tough time for the like this 20 minutes, but the OrthoPulse is more easy to use for the patient.
Right. I know that with vibration, it can have a kind of massaging effect that can improve fit as well. So maybe if you have some unfit, accelerated device would be a bit more useful for you. But in general, OrthoPulse seems to be a better choice for the patient because it's faster.
Yeah. And
okay, let's
go ahead.
Go ahead.
It's okay.
One more question, and this is one that I would like to know the answer to.
Me too.
Dr. Duvall asked, where do you get the composite hook attachment placed on the canine? Do you create it manually or do you order it?
This is very easy to use and easy to place on the just resin. Direct bonding hook is very cheaper, very faster, and you can easy to control. And put on the resin here. Then for the using for just a little bit for the angulation. Then light cure, then finish. Maybe two
and
minutes. Less than 2
nice.
minutes.
So do you make those hooks yourself or do you order them?
On the face.
You make them?
On the patient.
Okay.
This
great.
is not
All
buying
right.
for the I create for front of the patient. Patient sitting in my chair, then I calculation for the degree, then which is better to angle to elastic. Then put on the resin, then light curing, finish. Safety,
It's very interesting.
Faster, cheaper, a good effect. I definitely
and
recommend
cleaner.
it.
And the patients appreciate the attention too. They feel like they're getting very individual attention from you. I know that in the world there is a general idea that aligner orthodontics is too digital, that the orthodontist sends the plan to another company who plans for them, and then everything runs automatically. But I think that in your practice, the touches that you bring, individual interaction with your patients, and these small little details that you cover, I think show that aligner orthodontics is not done by a computer, but done by a doctor who understands how to use a computer.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so I think if we're going to cover all three cases, we should probably move on. Maybe later you can look at the questions in the chat, and if you have time, you can respond in text. So let's move on to our second case today.
Okay.
I think our second case is an extraction case, which focuses on the G6 protocol. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly. So let's go.
Let's have a look.
Go ahead. For this next session is extraction, for premolar extraction. This patient, 21 years old female patient, and we use this patient G6 protocol. Initially, so this patient is severe bimaxillary protrusion and narrow arch and clouding anterior teeth, and you can see midline deviation for the mandible, and the canine is not a good situation. This is you can see bimaxillary protrusion. Okay. Then patient's chief complaint is want to change the smiling, want to change the profile. Many of the Asian patients like this situation. At this time, extraction is one of the big good for the approaching. Have a look. This is a safe. Is definitely upper teeth is a proclination. Then this patient I select for the maximum anchorage. Okay. So molars, premolar is I don't want, never medialization. Keep this position. Then canine anterior teeth is want to retraction for this patient. Then, so the last case, some of my friend, colleague asked to me, what is different point for the traditional attachment, regularly attachment, and the G6 protocol attachment? As you can see, G6 protocol attachment is a very small size and very, how I say, looks good and easy to place on the attachment.
It's got angles.
Yes, exactly. So that many of the ladies want to choose this one. But my idea, me too, I understood. But my idea is because we are orthodontists, think about our job is alignment of the patient teeth. At this time, we have to choose what is different point. My idea, traditional attachment is more distalization. We can do more distalization, more medialization, and maximum anchorage, moderate anchorage, minimum anchorage, any type we can do, everything. And we can do more vertical control possible, and intrusion possible, everything we can do. And of course, rotation. And if we select traditional attachment procedures, we need it using elastic control. But if we select G6 attachment protocol, is a totally different. So the only is how I say capacity, the range is here. If more, no more medialization, no more distalization. Keep more anchorage, okay? And only maximum anchorage only, and the more is only intrusion is possible, but extrusion is very difficult because how I say active surface is different because this attachment purpose is only anti-tipping, okay? And the G6 protocol, if we select, no need elastic control for my approaching. Okay, have a look.
Interesting, okay.
This patient is G6 protocol attachment, very small size. Then on the canine is a two attachment, dual attachment. This meaning is root control, okay? We have to choose. The case selection is very important thing. After post-extraction, aligner fitting is good, and already I told you my approach is not initial aligner, not placed on any attachment. Initial aligner, second aligner is we call practice aligner. Then third aligner, the patient compliance is good, we place on the attachment. Have a look. This patient initially like this, but this one is a final situation. We solution to the profile for this patient. Have a look.
Look at that in the profile. That's amazing.
Yes. This is a cheap component for this patient. Then, so we control space closing for this patient. This is a finery. Finery is a space closing, and the patient is a no, how I say, a bowing effect, no tipping the molars, and we can super in position for the cephalometric analysis. The molar is no tipping, and the retraction anterior teeth. Okay. So many of the doctors is the aligner is cannot do extraction approaching, but my opinion is no. It depends on the doctor's experience, doctor's ideas, doctor's what's behind the aligner orthodontic experience, right? Then
Interesting.
thank you. End of the also, this is OPG and the SAFE. The comparison initial and the final, this patient is profile is totally different. Okay, and orthodontic treatment is very important thing. It's not during orthodontic treatment time. End of the also active tooth movement phase. That is, we check precisely, normally one time per month. But the end of the also, sometimes patient just a little bit lose, management. But my idea, sorry, many of my patients using aligners, that is good compliance for the retainers. Why? My idea is only this. Aligner orthodontic patient, initial aligner already start education retainer. Normally braces patient, maybe 2 years fix. End of the also, remove the braces, started for the retainer. Have to need 20 hours per day, but sometimes I don't want to wear the retainer. But Invisalign and many of the aligner orthodontic patient already start education retainer, initial Invisalign aligner, around 2 years. 20 hours per day wear the aligner is no problem. So that means end of the orthodontic treatment, patient no stress, still continue good, keep the retainer in her mouth. So many of my patient is retention time. It's a very good for the motivation, keep motivation. This is an initial and the comparison end of the situation. Is a profile and smiling is totally different. Have a look. This is 2 years retention for this patient, but still good situation, and the guide and midline, canine, and the molar relation is super perfect, right?
That's amazing. Yeah.
This is a comparison initial and the final is good for the alignment and good for the occlusion, good for the situation during 2 years retention. This is the end of the treatment time. Initial end of the also, this is retention. Okay, this is a totally different for this patient. Okay.
Yeah, it's a big change. I'm sure that they were very happy with the change that they saw.
Yeah, this is initial end of the also. This is a retention. The good for the key position for this patient, right?
Oh, that's great. So also, just to add to your comments about retainers and aligner orthodontic patients, the other one of the other key slip-ups that MBS patients often make with retainers is a lack of understanding of hygiene of retainers. Because they've been working with a fixed appliance for so long, keeping proper hygiene with your retainer is something that they can lose focus on. But of course, because aligner patients have discipline with aligner hygiene, hygiene with their retainer is something that is second nature. They don't need to think, they don't need to be taught. So all of this helps them maintain their results without any kind of regression.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If Robert have a time, so the many of the questions.
Yes, we do. Yeah, let's get to some of the questions. So
thank you for the wonderful many questions. I want to try to answer for yours.
Absolutely. So what was the total treatment time for this case?
So the second case, the case one.
The second case.
Second case, 18 months.
18 months. Okay. And did you use acceleration with this case as well?
Yes, also pause.
Okay. And so we had a question from Dentcraft Digital that says that how much movement of aligner per aligner do you plan with a 3-day change?
So this meaning is one aligner is how millimeter tooth movement, right? So the Invisalign
That's correct.
Is a fixed tooth movement. One aligner each is a 0.25 millimeters maximum. The rest is a 0.1 millimeters.
Okay. So there you go. There you have your maximum and your minimum tooth movement. I know these numbers seem amazing, and many doctors who come to see Kenji speak don't believe his results. But I think that these videos speak for themselves. Once again, if you want to see these videos again and watch them in more detail, you can find them in Kenji's channel. So please like and subscribe and share this with your friends. Yeah. Okay. Another question for you from Opal Dental. How do you maintain the molars for maximum anchorage without tipping?
That is a very nice question. One is attachment. Attachment is very important thing for the tooth control. If without any attachment, sometimes it's very difficult, right? And my opinion is, so the many of my seminar at this time I told for my colleague is occlusal contact. That is key of the success. We have to think about which tooth is have a good vertical contact or not. Initial time, we have to check precisely. Please have a look. This patient is upper 1747 is not good contact initial time. At this time, initial about 2 or 4 aligners. We control more strongly anchorage, create initial time, because one aligner is a tooth control 0.25 millimeters. If control 2 aligners, upper 2.5 millimeters, lower 2.5, initial first aligner already we move totally 0.5 millimeters. If second aligner, 2.5, 2.5, totally 1 millimeter strongly more contact. After create strongly anchorage, we can control anything, and after good control, bite control, not easy to tipping because already strongly contact, right? And some of the time, we think about square anchorage. Square anchorage, what is mean? Sometimes molars, canine, it create a square. At this time, square is don't move anything, only inside square control. For example, second molar, canine, this is a square. Inside first molar, and the second premolar is easy to control because this square teeth is keep it, don't move anymore. And inside more easy to control. And another sign, finally, is we use sequential tooth movement, not simultaneous. Simultaneous is very easy to like this, okay? But the sequential tooth movement, one by one, is more safety. Sometimes 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 1, 2, 1, 2, like this. So we can use for the digital simulation, and we can understand precisely tooth movement. We can do more faster, okay?
So when you're doing segmental movement like this, it requires more aligners, correct?
Yes, sometimes yes. But if think about which tooth movement is key of the success for this case, it's molar, it's anchorage, is very important thing. You can you can many aligner and many staging. That is no problem because this is key of the success. Okay, and you have to decide on which tooth movement is a key, or sometime after that is no problem. But a very important thing, this position have to need many staging and good for the position, and without any avoid or tipping, then good success for the tooth movement.
All right, so focusing on how each individual tooth moves instead of trying to move everything all at once. Okay, yeah, that makes a big difference. Okay, great. We have time for a few more questions. So let's go back into the chat. Let's see. We have people asking about how you program your maximum anchorage. Maybe we should save that topic for another video. I think that you could talk for days about programming maximum anchorage. Okay. So maybe we will save that for another time. How about, here's an interesting question. In cases like this, how do you control for incisor torque?
Yeah. That is very important thing because patient have to need a check for the smiling and the midline and the torque control. So this is one of the finishing. The finishing is good for the torque It's very important thing. And we at this time, if using cone beam CT and the bone situation, then how millimeter control, torque control, sometimes angulation, then we can do precisely tooth movement. So that if only clean check, never know.
Right.
We have to need basically anatomical data. Then we understood which angulation, which torque control is better for this patient. Because as you can see, clean check is without any root, without any bone. Nobody understood only clean check. So I heard for some of the speakers is think about take a scanning procedure, then how I say, automatically simulation, outcome simulation, yes. Outcome simulation, I never use it because that is just dream. Because without any muscle,
Right.
without any bone, without any root, without any joint, cannot understood. So that if you want to, the precisely torque control, angulation, at this time, you have to check anatomical data for the patient. Okay?
Okay, very interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And maybe we can take one more question before we move on to our next topic. Oh, by the way, that last question
Okay.
Was once again from Dr. Dabal. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
And then next, let's hear from. We have a lot of different questions here. Which one to choose? So we've covered molars and tipping. So why don't we talk about derotation? How much derotation of tooth in degree can you achieve with just aligners?
Yes, for the initially overcorrection I do because I don't believe for the aligner potential. 10 years, more than 10 years ago. But now I understood aligner potential and I believe my simulation, I trust for my clean check. Now it's just on this position. But long time ago, initially additional for the few aligners, overcorrection. But if you order to additional aligners, overcorrection, no problem. If you want to control, it's just on this position is good. But if you have any additional aligner, you don't use it. Or if you want to use any additional aligner, you can correct just on the situation. So initially, I definitely recommendation. This question, so the doctor is very smart. If you want to check your technique and your skill and your experience, initially additional few aligner or to make use overcorrection. Then tooth is good, no use it. If more, you can use it, right?
Okay, fantastic. Okay, and looking at the time, I think that maybe later when you have time, Dr. Kenji, please have a look at the comments and maybe you can answer some of them in the chat later.
Yes.
But for now, I think we should probably move on to our third session. Thank you all for your questions and comments so far, and we hope you keep them coming. Once again, this last case is also available in Kenji's YouTube feed, so go ahead and check that out if you have subscribed and you have time. So our third session case is a case of molar distalization.
Okay, let's go. Next one. Next one. Okay. This is today YouTube channel last case, but this approach is very, very important thing because if you understood like this approaching, you can more your approach is more expand. Okay, this is basically so the philosophy inside many of the basic philosophy. The class 2 severe overjet upper molar distalization, 25 years old female patient. So that this patient is have to need extraction or non-extraction. But this patient told me, please don't move my premolar teeth. And I want to check which is better to result for this patient. Okay? Then so that I create. This is a class 2 basic approach. Like this case is many of the time, the class 2 molars, class 2 canine, and severe overjet. Okay? This is the initial situation for this patient. Then you can check right side and the left side, both of sides is class 2 and narrow arch. Okay? And no space for the alignment anterior teeth. Then my planning is this, watching the face. Only clean check, only teeth is not enough. We have to think about face integration, teeth alignment. This is a cephalometric and OPG and no problem. Then my idea is a tooth integration clean check. Okay? Then the place on the attachment after third alignment. Then the sequential tooth movement. Have a look. Molar sequential distal movement, after that premolar distalization, then canine, create a space, finally anterior alignment. This is very effective tooth movement specialty for aligners. Initial time, I very surprised like this tooth movement because the totally different braces mechanics. This is a specialty.
Yeah. It's a different philosophy. Yeah,
exactly. Digital orthodontic. Definitely digital also. Have a look. Initial aligner is never placed on any attachment and never placed on any button. The third aligners placed on the button, placed on the attachment, placed on the direct bonding hook, then started to use class 2 elastic. Okay? Then started for the sequential molar distalization. Okay? Initial time I use class 2 elastic. At this time I never use strongly one. Very softly. Okay. Then using
how much force that elastic are you using?
It depends on the patient because some of the time for the very big man, sometimes very smart for the ladies. It depends on the muscle force. So that we have to check if very strongly is a mandible is like this, cannot affect elastic. Okay, so very important thing is a not too strong one. Okay, and please have a look this JCO article, Journal of Clinical Orthodontics. Dr. Bernard Shoup is my mentor. I follow him approaching. Then my life is dramatically changed. Thank you, Dr. Bernard Shoup and Dr. Julia Haubrich. So I learned from this article. Please have a look. This article is very nice for the attachment, nice for the directly bonding hook on the canine. This rectangular attachment is avoid rotation in the aligners. If using directly bonding hook, using elastic, maybe canine is easy to rotation in the aligners. Then Dr. Shoup placed on the rectangular attachment. I follow this approach. That is very safety, very effective. But this case is using canine. But now I do modified my Kenji strategies. The Kenji strategy is yes, place on directly bonding hook, place on the rectangular attachment on first premolars.
On the first premolar,
yes, because please have a look. Initially is molar distalization. After that, premolar distalization. End of the premolar distalization is a bottom cut is moved to canine. This is Dr. Bernard Shoup protocol. Okay, the Kenji's protocol is initially first premolar placed on the directly bonding hook. Then after that, distalization, second molars, first molars, like this. Then after first premolar distalization completely, bottom cut is shift to the canine. This is Bernard Shoup protocol. Then finally anterior retraction. This is how I say the fusion. This idea.
The fusion. Nice.
Have a look. This is the clinical photos. Initially, second molar distalization, and have a look, create a space. This is amazing. This is a specialty aligner orthodontics works. Then molar distalization create a space, the patient feeling. So the patient told me, so many of the food inside between the molar and the premolar. At this time, this is a good tooth movement. Keep going, keep going. Then the patient is a good motivation, and where the aligner is more. Then we step up next step. Next step is premolar distalization phase. This is the most dangerous point. Most dangerous point is premolar distalization. Why? Already molar is distalization. Around molars root bone is still soft. Not used.
It's very plastic, yeah.
Exactly.
It can move very easily,
Easy to mobility. At this time, so that don't use anchorage molars. And the premolar distalization time, canine to canine and elastic. This is the Kenji's protocol, elastic. If without any elastic, maybe I think easy to happen anchorage loss. Okay, the molar is anchorage loss, cannot distalization. The key of the success like this situation is premolar distalization phase. This is the most dangerous, most very important time. After premolar distalization, the canine retraction phase. After that, create a space, anterior teeth alignment. At this time, we have to check the midline correct and the smiling frame and watching for the smile lip and lip mobility, everything. This is end of the also and the class 1 relationship achieved and 2 years retention for this patient. Both of sides, the molars, the canine is a class 1 relationship and the arch coordination is good and the midline is correct and the anterior guidance is good. This is the 2 years is stable. This is very important thing. End of the also, so the many of the aligner orthodontic patient is good, maintained. Okay.
That's great. This is another amazing treatment. This is just the results are incredible, and the fact that they were able to retain for so long shows that you disciplined them, or that they developed very good discipline with their retainers as well.
Thank you. So the only alignment is very easy, but the very important thing is a beautiful smile. Just alignment is very easy, but if still overjet, gummy smile is a not good, beautiful smile. The patient watching end of the also, alignment is good, occlusion is good, and smiling is good. That is very important thing.
Right.
This patient.
So this is why. Yeah. This is why facial driven treatment planning is so important, right?
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Well, that was wonderful, Kenji. We have just a few minutes left. Shall we take some questions from the chat?
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So we have I'm very sorry if I mispronounce your names. They're all unfamiliar to me. So we have a comment from Sinem who says, "How do you achieve only upper molar distalization instead of both upper and lower mesylization when you use class 2 elastics?" So using class 2 elastics, how do you achieve only upper molar distalization?
No. So many of the time I using class 2 elastic. Some of the time is extraction. Some of the time is open bite approaching. Many of the time I use class 2 elastic. Not only molar distalization, deep bite, open bite, extraction case, expansion case. Many.
Okay. And another question here from CMY. How many hours per day of elastic wear for this case?
Normally, so information to the patient is 20 hours per day using elastic. And the end of the treatment, so using elastic is minimum 6 months retention time. At this time, some of the time, night time, some of the time, 12 hours. But normally, during active tooth movement time is 20 hours per day.
Okay.
Interesting.
You. Great. Thank you very much for your excellent question. How about we hear from Stefania Julian. So congratulations, Dr. Ojima, is the first comment. And regards from Argentina. How do you control the inferior teeth protrusion with class 2 elastics?
Protrusion, class 2 elastic. Yes. So
Yes. How do you confirm?
Oh yeah, nice question. Very important thing is initially protrusion first, then after that, many of the like this situation patient is a mandible is shift to the back, right? Then progrenation first, mandible is shift to the front, then started for the alignment. So maybe you class 2 division 2 case is initial time is control procrastination upper teeth first, then control mandible, then after that alignment is more safety and more easy to treat. Nice question.
Interesting. Very good. Okay. Thank you very much, Stefania. And a question. So 2 questions from Victor. Victor asks, when indicated, what IPR protocol do you use?
Nice question. Very nice question. So the many of the time, so the I do IPR is finishing, because if using for the IPR initial phase, cannot use finishing and the detailing time. The patient is want to alignment midline and alignment, how I say, beautiful smile. At this time, if done already IPR anterior teeth, maybe patient is not agree additional IPR for the end of the time. Okay. So the I call for the IPR is a final weapon. So if you want to create a space, create how I say arch length discrepancy, at this time you have to check for cone beam CT. Then so the how millimeter expansion is possible, because sometimes canine to canine expansion is very dangerous because it's easy to recession for the gum. Then you can check for the cone beam CT how millimeter is possible for the expansion. Then only uprighting, or we can do the bodily movement expansion. Then after that, if needed for the some IPR, you do premolars, you do the canine, it's more safety. Because anterior teeth is very small, for the enamel it's very short. If you do IPR, maybe 0.2, 0.3 is maximum. The premolar canine is you can do more, it's more safety.
Okay. And is this, do you do a single visit or a multiple visit IPR? One visit or many visits?
IPR time? Yes, so the sometime 2, sometime 1.
Okay. A very simple answer. Thank you. Again, with so many of these wonderful questions, it's very difficult to give a single answer, because so many of these cases are case by case and patient by patient. So it's very difficult to give a larger piece of advice to all of the doctors watching. Well, Kenji, we are just about out of time today. So I apologize to any of the question askers or comment makers that we did not address in today's live stream. And I thank all of you for contributing to this experience and joining us for our chat today. If we didn't get to your question or your comment this time, maybe we will next time. In our next session, we will be talking about 3 new topics. The first is whether aligner orthodontics are appropriate for posterior open bite cases. The second, we'll be looking at a case of lower molar mesialization. And then finally, we will be looking at a aligner approach to deep bite cases. So ladies and gentlemen, we deeply, deeply appreciate you taking time out of your day to join us. We hope that you come and join us again. Once again, please like and subscribe below. Both Kenji and I are smiling, warm and comfortable where we are, but not everyone is so lucky. So we hope that wherever you're watching from, you can find a bit of happiness and a bit of peace in your life. And we hope that you come out to join us for another stimulating discussion at our next international Kenji Ojima YouTube Live. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming and joining us today. Kenji, thank you so much for giving us your time. Please like and subscribe below. And of course, all of the cases that you saw today are available in Kenji's YouTube feed, so please give them a look. Play them as many times as you need to, and if you have questions, just leave them down in the comments, and maybe we can get back to you.
Thank you, David.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you all over my friend and colleague. It's very exciting to share my experience. And please push for the subscribe my YouTube channel, and many of the comments I checking like this. And I hope see you soon, very soon, with my friend Robert. Thanks again, Robert. Thanks again for my friend, my colleagues. And see you on next YouTube, my international live. Thank you.
Take care, everyone.